Just real quick, wanted to show you guys the 35s on the 100 series with no lift. So they're 315s, 75 16s, which if you do the conversion is like 34.8. So essentially it's a 35-inch tire. I'm just gonna tell you real quick what I did. So you basically have to cut the actual body a little bit. By the way, these are 16 by 10 with a minus 25 offset. So they're pretty aggressive. But with these flares, they look great, I think. Here's the same thing. You basically have to cut the fender. So I just took a jigsaw, traced it, cut it, and then inside you'll also have to cut the actual not just the pinch weld, but you basically cut like that whole section off. I don't know if you guys can see. So you cut this whole section off here, and then I filled it in with JB Weld and just spray painted over everything in gray. You completely remove there's a little plastic splash shield here that you just completely move it, and then this is the washer reservoir. So what you do is you remove that plastic shield, and it actually, believe it or not, it only slightly rubs right there, just barely. But that's only at like full lock, and it's not enough to transfer this washer bottle up there. At least for me, it's not. I taped this off so basically you could actually see how much fluid you have through this little inspection area, so the spray paint isn't everywhere. You have to trim, obviously, the bumper. It's quite substantial. It's probably about like 3 inches. And then I put some new shocks on there. Yeah, so you basically you cut the fender all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way to the bottom with a jigsaw. So you just trace it out. And then this car is getting a full on the back here. I don't know if you can see or not, but you really can't see, but same thing here is you cut all the way from there and you just trace it all the way down, and then you just use like a little marker so that you know. But there's plenty. I painted the whole frame like this rust-proof Rust-Oleum gray so it doesn't rust, because it's a Southern car, so there's no rust on this one. But it's a pretty, if you look from the side, it's a pretty aggressive fitment. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know what you guys think, but what else I was gonna show you? Oh, I was gonna show you, so see how along the bottom, the whole frame is coated in this stuff, and that's just as a preventative measure, because see how beefy that tire looks? Look at that guy. So let me see if I could show you here. So it's a 315 75 16. By the way, here I forgot what the hub is. I think it's like 76.1, I want to say. So you got to make sure that it'll clear the hub. But these are Pro Comps. They're not expensive. They're like only 800 for all four, and the tires were like I think 1,000 or 1,200. And then you have to get these skinny lugs to fit. I think they're 14 by 1.5 thread pitch. What else was I going to show? See on the front here, there's so much room. You don't even, and then I want to show you that the wheels, they go, so right there, that's full lock. And there's you see how little clearance there is here? There's barely any. And then over here, there's about that much clearance. So it's tight, but it does the full lock. And then there, you see, look how little clearance there is here. So I can barely fit my hand in there, but it just clears it enough. So you cut it like literally like along the frame rail. But it does work, and when I'm driving this thing at look at that guy. When I'm driving this thing, like I've went to a couple different articulation spots and up curbs and whatnot, and it actually, believe it or not, just does not rub. The only part that it rubs is on that little windshield washer reservoir. But other than that, and actually, I got the idea. I was in Iceland, and I saw I'll put a picture up in the end here of a 100 series with 35s, and it also didn't have a lift. And basically all they do over there is they do the same thing as is done here. They cut the actual rear quarter panel, and then they cut the front. They cut the front fender as well. So, because the shitty thing about these 100 series is that they're torsion bar front suspension. So you're limited on your lift options. You can do OME, replace the front torsion bars, and they'll give you like an extra maybe 2 inches of lift. But we can't get like what the 100 series, or I'm sorry, what the 80 series can get. 80 series, you can get a nice little 6-inch lift set up with the spring and the whole deal. But on these, you can't put a spring, like you can't put a coilover in the front. There's just not enough room in the way the mount is made. So we're kind of like stuck, unfortunately. And anyway, that's it. I just want to show you guys that it is possible, but you do have to do like a lot of cutting. So if you don't want to cut your rear quarter panel a little bit and your fender, don't even consider this, because without doing that, it'll 100% will rub bad. It's like almost undrivable, obviously.